right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special spotlight guest joining us today. Uh, Hairdressers, hairstylist, Guild nominated, Emmy nominated, Oscar Shortlist Contender. Uh, Mona Productions, we have Andrea Mona Bowman. Give it up, guys.
Yeah.
Grateful to be here. Thanks for asking for me, giving me this opportunity
Yes,
to be a part.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you're a mother, happy Mother's Day. Uh,
Yes.
Yes, I am. I'm a mother of
Yeah.
three
Happy
Oh,
sons
Mother's
happy
Day.
Mother's Day.
and
Happy
two
Mother's Day.
granddaughters.
oh
Ooh,
wow, all
Oh
right, come
wow.
on in.
yes.
Wow.
Now, where are you originally from?
I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, okay.
Hey, okay, okay,
Oh, what you know
cousin.
about that? You pumping up? You know Shreveport, girl?
No, my family's from Louisiana. My family's from Plaquemine. It's like
No,
right
I've been there.
close to Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My
And
granddaughter
my
lives in Baton Rouge.
Mm,
okay.
mm-hmm.
And my wife, she's from New Orleans.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool beans. Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad's family from New Orleans, so I'm from the top to the bottom. So you'll hear a little twang and a little country because you know North Louisiana don't sound like South Louisiana.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
Yeah.
so right.
And I got people from Opelousas, and
Hmm.
my other homeboy, he from Mamou, Louisiana. He said you got to find that by
Now
sticks.
that one I don't know that one.
Yeah,
Me
cause
either.
Now
Never
that
heard
they,
of
one I
it.
never heard of.
yeah, it's up north. So the only way you can locate that is with the sticks on the road.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it's
cause I'm
really
up
country.
north, but I'm like I ain't never heard of that one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Never.
Oh wow.
Oh
Now
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
gonna give me
Never.
some homework. I'm gonna Google that one when we get off.
yeah. Mamu. His grandmother stayed right across the street from Crawfish Farm.
Oh
Mm.
wow.
So
Oh
you'll
yeah,
see
they stick
crawfish
sticks.
walking on the. Yeah, yeah, that's the sticks.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get right into it though. So, uh, hairstyling, we definitely need you in this business. So, share with us how you became a hairstylist, and you know why not the path of acting. How do you fall into hairstyling, like for TV and film?
Mm.
Well, how I became a hairstylist, I became a hairstylist by default. Never wanted to do it, never sought after it. I did my first haircut in the seventh grade. My cousin got a bad haircut, and I've always been able to draw. So when she showed me the picture that she wanted, I could see the angles, and I cut it, curled it. That haircut led to me cutting my sister hair. She worked at a truck stop, and a lady there just loved her haircut, and she was like, "Can you who did your hair? Can I get it done?" Because they were passing through. She said, "My little sister cut my hair." And she was like, "Where's she working?" She was like, "No, my little sister. Like she's a little sister. She's in middle school." And the lady was like, "I don't care. She cut that good. I'll pay for it." And back then in the '80s, $50 was a million. So I told my mom that I could cut her hair for $50. I'm like, "Girl, what you need? I'm gonna buy you whatever you need. We might be able to do something with this." So all through after that haircut, all through high school, I did all my friends for prom and everything. It was just a thing. Went off to college at Wiley College, HBCU. Went to Wiley, met a young lady there. She was from Detroit, and Detroit always been a mecca of black hairstyles, especially back then in the early '90s. And she showed me how to do extensions and all that because people that knew me, they knew I did hair at home. So I started doing it on a college campus, and then she took me on her belt. So she taught me extensions, she taught me French rolls and the banana peels and all that kind of stuff, and it just became a whole thing. So when I went back home, 2 years because I got my associates there, and then I went back home because I realized I was in so much debt, and I didn't want to continue to be in debt. So I just went back and still did it in the hood at the house. And my cousin that lived upstairs from me, and she was like, came downstairs one day, and we were just talking, and I went to one of the programs because when you're on the system, they have to you got to go through the programs. So I'm 2 kids in now at this point, and I remember this guy asking, "What is your next 1 year prep program? Next 5? Where you want to be in 10 years?" And I remember going home, and my cousin we talking, and she was like, "What you thinking of?" I was like, "Thinking of a master plan." I said, "I got to figure something out." And she said, "Let's go to beauty school." I never even looked at beauty school as a real thing because I didn't really want to do hair. But I knew if I didn't help her, she wasn't going to get out of the system. I knew I wasn't going to stay in the system. I just hadn't figured it out yet. So
Mhm.
I went with her that same day. We got up, went that same day. And as we doing the tour of the beauty school, I'm like, wow, this is great, God. But what's my plan? I'm going to help her, but I got to figure out something for me. As soon as we
Mhm.
get to the desk with the lady talking business now, and she said, yeah, you know, if you're a really good hairstylist, you can make up to $100,000.
Mhm.
$100,000. I said, oh, how long is this program? Oh, it's a year. I said, oh, what on it? She said, yeah, you're on a system, so you could be able to have assistants and this and that. And, man, I signed up that day, and 2 weeks later, my cousin quit, and here I
Oh,
am, 30 some years later. God had bumped me, used her to bump me where I needed to be because I would have never went forward because my mom was an educator. She wanted me to go to college. So a
Right.
trade back in the day was not considered a real job. So
yeah.
Mhm.
she did not want me to go. But when she seen that I was passionate and serious about it, because I was on a mission, and she actually came back years later and told me she apologized, but she was like, "You take care of me and the family now." And I would have never wanted you to do a trade. And I preach trades, I preach college, I preach anything. If it's something that you can learn and you can benefit from. But that's how I became a hairstylist. Initially, I did it what 20 years in the salon, but at
Mhm.
my 14th year is when I got introduced to TV and film.
Mhm.
And after Hurricane Katrina hit, it knocked because Louisiana was the first Hollywood South after all the incentives left, and we were the first ones to be considered the Hollywood South. Katrina hit and knocked all the work up to Shreveport because Shreveport is the third biggest city in Louisiana. So we still had the infrastructure that could carry the shows because they didn't want to lose those contracts. And I ended up meeting a guy, and he was one of the first black that had ever entered in TV and film through hair design. He had worked with
Mhm.
Denzel. He worked anybody, Samuel L. Jack, anybody that was in a black film, he had did. I didn't know that because I didn't even really pursue or knew how the concept was to even do hair on set. But he was in town doing a show called Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins. And my pastor's wife was an extra, and she invited him over for Easter dinner. And he accepted it, and he came over for Easter dinner. And my church is a church that we're really close. So every Easter, Pastor always invite us all over to go and fellowship at his house and eat. And the young man came over and he was like, "Yeah, I really need somebody, and I know how black churches are. You don't know who's in the city." And he was like, "I need a hairstylist to work on my next film." And he said, "I got the baddest one in the city. Go to my church, and she should be
Mhm.
coming up here soon." And
Mhm.
his wife called, and that Sunday I was not having it. I had did 55 people for that Easter Saturday before
Ooh.
Easter. I
Yeah.
was
Oh
dying,
man.
and picked up the phone. I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming." Hung that phone up. My middle son was in the car with me, and he said, and I said, "I ain't going to Best Stop. Listen, I'm going home, go to sleep." And my 11-year-old son looked at me and he said, "Mom, aren't you the one that talk about opportunities? You just never know. That's what you tell us." And now I'm saying to myself, "Nah, I gotta go because I know he's gonna throw this back up in my face. I have to practice what I preach as a mom." So I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, son." He was like, "Let's go and go up there." And he was like, "No, mama, you take me home. They asked you to come, not me." So now I'm really mad because I got to drive him all the way home when I really want to go home. Dropped him off. I'm fussing at God the whole time driving back. Oh, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Get there, meet the guy. We sitting there talking, talk 15 minutes, and he just stopped me in my tracks. And he said, "Have you ever had a situation where you know somebody's the one?" I said, "No, because I don't really trust people like this." So they had to prove it to me. He was like, "Well, I'm
Mhm.
going to give you a chance of a lifetime. You the one, and I know you the one." I said, "What?" And 17 years later, the guy that was that got me the opportunity, his name was Kenneth Walker. If y'all ever want to research Mr. Ken is the guru of black hairstylists and TV and film. He's opened the door for so many, and I was one of them. He passed a few years back, but I always like to tell the story of how he opened up that door to be able to get me actually in. And my first big film was The Great Debaters.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
right?
Ooh,
Wow.
That's
one of
awesome.
my favorite. Wow, that is amazing.
I know.
And then what's really cool is that your son was there pumping you up and encouraging you. And sometimes we tend not to think like that's going to be the person that God sends to give us that extra push, but they
Come
be
out of the
listening to
mouth of
what we
Yeah, they
say
be
babes.
listening.
and
Yeah.
they be ready to tell us
Oh,
to bring it back on us when time comes.
oh yes, every time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
actually have 4 kids myself.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
19-year-old, a 15-year-old, and I have twin girls that are 9.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
the
Yeah, my
girls.
son, my oldest is 33. My middle son now, he's 31, and I have a
Mhm.
25-year-old
Oh yes, baby, you done and like okay, y'all bye.
son.
um, now that you mentioned you used to act and cameo appearance in films. Might we seen you in any stage plays or anything like that?
No, those when I did my stage plays days, I was a little bit younger, and
Mhm.
they didn't have the cell phones and the videos like they have now. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
little older. I'm
Oh,
a little on the
wow.
older side.
We're
Back
gonna
then,
put
we
a
didn't have
picture of me
access
again.
to all that. You just had to be able to tell the stories and people believe that you did certain things. But
Right,
what's so
right,
crazy? I
right.
just was in the TV show that I'm working on now. Did a little cameo with one of the scenes as a hairstylist of the actor that I am the hairstylist of. I just thought that was too funny. Everybody just fell out laughing.
No, that's pretty cool. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's awesome for them to throw like put you in there and show you like in your actual state what you actually do, and I mean that's
yeah.
cool.
Nice.
It is. Now, let's talk about this for a second. Just the quick story, right? I was on this film set, and I got casted and everything to do an extra role. And the director, we got to filming, and the director, he didn't like my hair. They gave me like several hats, and they just didn't like my hair, so they ended up just taking me out the scene because they didn't know what to do with my hair because I guess the way it was. And so I just want to talk about the importance of just having people of color on set. Just with those type of situations. Have you come across any situations similar to that before?
17 years of many, 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 many stories. I could keep y'all here all night of the different stories, not just being of color, being for somebody that know how to do what is needed. That's the
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
Skin
Yeah.
complexion does not negate the fact that you can do everything. I try to tell people that I love everybody, but
yeah,
how I operate, especially when I'm department heading or keying and giving people opportunities to work on my set, you have to show me skill set, you have to show me knowledge, and you also have to show me execution. And my most important one, follow direction. A
Hmm.
lot of people don't execute all four. Most of them maybe do one, maybe two. You'll be lucky sometimes you get three. But those that work with me, you have to do four. If you don't do four, I'm gonna keep looking. I'll give you the opportunity, but if you can't, especially the follow direction part, I
hmm,
can't really hire you because, like you said, for your instance, they didn't understand what was going on, what was needed. So when anybody go on my set, all my people have to do is work. I have all the process of it planned out. When I need you to just do the three men, you do the two ladies, because when I hire somebody, I already know what you're capable of doing. So, like for
Hmm.
hmm,
instance, next week we have 3 units going on. I have to make sure if the unit that have more men, I'm gonna put the barbers and the young ladies that know how to do men. The ladies, because it's 1970. If you're not really structured in period styling or using tools and stuff that I know that can give the look of the looks, you're not gonna get hired. But if you do, I have 4 women that I need to make sure that production know that they need to be on this particular unit. Then if I'm doing first team, I have to go with those that I am assigned to because I do this person, my key do this person, or my third. Everything has to be structured because situations like you said, if somebody comes and have a look that is not been figured out before then, everybody that I know have to be able to be very impulsive to see what the director want. That's up to the department head and the key or the third or who's ever running background. That's who were responsible for that. And if you don't have proper people in those positions, a person like you that came all the way to get dressed and have this opportunity can't be used because they don't understand what's going on. For me, as a period piece like I am on now, we had this situation actually happen last night. I try to accommodate when people don't come proper because once we start a show, because this is a TV show that I'm on, I send out a PDF with the do's and the don'ts. How you can come. I have visuals of photos. I have roller sets. I have everything, pin curl styles, everything. Have a link where you can go look on YouTube, everything. So when you come and you're not properly prepped on your end, being an extra or an additional or a secondary actor, that's on you now.
Mm,
Because if you're not giving us what we need, it's going to put us in a bind. But I also
Mhm.
know that people don't follow directions. So guess
mm,
what I do? I still come prepared. So if they don't come and follow direction as far as the extra or the casting part of it, I have my team already know that we have to have this type of hair prepared. We have to have a wig prepared. We always have to, because guess what happened last night? Young lady came with two strand twists with uh parted in V. It's 1970. They didn't do that.
mm,
Nice.
So being that my team already know how to structure it, guess what we did? We came with a wig, was able to lay her locks down. I mean her two strand twist down without taking her hair out, and put that wig on because we know that, especially now we've been into this show since February, so we pretty much
mhm,
got a feel of it. But having proper people to know, to have the knowledge to be able to accommodate what the director wants, what the showrunner wants, or the look of the aesthetics of the show, it makes such a difference.
mhm. Oh, definitely. Um,
Like that.
so, of course, we had a strike recently with writers and actors. But tell us about your side of the story, like with the crew, and like, was it a hard time for you during the strike? How did you maintain?
Yes, it was very hard and very shocking, especially still trying to recover from COVID.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm being that I have been in salon life, have always saved in a certain manner.
Mhm,
So for me, I was able to stay afloat, but most people did not. So when this strike came unexpectedly, because I was thinking, of course they're going to give the people what they need. Of course it's not going to last past 3 months. Of course it's not. But yes, it did. Went 9 months for me. I literally finished the piano lesson. That was my last show, my last film that I had just finished. We were able to finish, I think, a week before the strike actually shut down everything. We was able to get everything in the can before it happened. The day that it happened, everybody was like, "Oh, we can't believe this is going to happen. This and that." And I was like, "Okay, God, what is really happening?" I literally
mhm,
had to live off my 401k
Mm,
because I'm from Louisiana. My license is
mm,
still, my hair license is still in Louisiana. So I couldn't even get
mhm,
a job in Georgia where I'm based because I don't have license in the state of Georgia.
yeah.
They gave
mm.
us unemployment, but I got grown bills. I don't have unemployment bills.
All
I
right.
where I live, it ain't that little $300 is that's food. And I'm just like, Lord, what is going on? But always knowing how fickle this industry can be, I've always
Mhm,
put
Mhm.
back, always had nuggets put up to where me and my family won't fall into this hole. But we was close, I ain't gonna lie. I was happy that it
Mhm.
started back. We had got really close because I had already pulled, and by it being such a big effect on everybody, because a lot of my friends lost their houses, a lot of them lost
Mhm.
their cars, a lot of them still not working because that
yeah.
whole strike still shifted the game. Because from what I'm seeing, that's just me personally. I feel like it's a reset on their end. That's what, and I felt like it was real intentional in a sense, to try
Mhm.
to shape certain things. And nobody's gonna say that, but I feel like it was intentional because once the strike was over, why is so many people still without work, you know? So
Right.
I just feel like the shift is coming. God had already told me a couple years back that a shift was going to happen in this industry. So underlining for me, I've been, I was already study trying to put a little bit back here because I'm the
Mm,
breadwinner of my family right now. But yeah, it was a scary time, but I'm gonna say this too. I'm always working because I'm kind of what I'm considered like a specialty artist.
mhm.
I was
Mhm.
able to do a lot of stuff that I would have never been able to do being that I was off.
Yeah.
I turned 50 and we I mean hip hop turned 50 and I went to so many hip hop concerts and had the best time going back down memory lane that I know I would have never been
Yeah.
able to do. So it had its downside of things, but I had my new granddaughter was born, so I was able to spend time with her. So you take the good with the bad. Sometimes God slow you down just to see how your faith is going to grow from certain things,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I still pressed through because I knew the provision was going to be made, and I just
Yeah.
enjoyed the moment, not dwelling on the fact that I'm not working in a sense, but also trusting God that if it don't come that way, it's going to come another way, and it did.
Mhm.
So that brings me to my next question. When you're not doing premieres, award shows, or just on the job, that's what you do on your downtime. Like you just be with your family and just chill out. And you got grandkids, so I know they're a handful.
Yes, I'm a Gigi. I'm a gorgeous granddaughter, Gigi.
Guess you
So if
are.
I'm not working, I am. Thank you. I am with my stank pots. That's what I call them. I try to do family because family is everything to me. The way my grandmother raised me, she used to tell you now your cousins y'all get into it and this and that. She said y'all can fall out, but you better fall back in. So
Right.
Oh, that's
it
a good one.
it's just how I was raised. Yeah, she didn't care. That was just her letting us know that family is everything and that you need to work through issues and love on your family. And if
Mhm.
I'm not with my immediate family, I'm back to Louisiana to get my granddaughter. I never let 3 months pass without me seeing her. Never, because I want that relationship. Being boy mamas, when the boy mama not with the young lady, it becomes a bigger problem.
Yeah.
But the mama
Right.
mama always get the grandchildren. But the
Yeah.
boy, the dude mama will always be the little one that turned to be the one. Oh, I seen you a gift, and I ain't want to be no send no gift. I want to be hands on because
Yeah.
when she get older, I want her to have that relationship so I can develop that while she's young and we can have that rapport so she can understand. Grandma is not just here to buy you stuff. I'm here to spend time with you and to help you develop to be a young woman.
Mhm.
It's funny that you say that because, like, with my kids, they have like both sets. Like, they have a grandmother that's she's like, I'm not spending a lot of money, but what I am gonna do is spend time and build memories with you. And like, she's big on that. She takes them and
Yes.
does stuff with them, and they remember that. It leaves a long lasting effect on the child versus just coming around when it's a holiday or something, bringing this big bag of gifts. Like, the gifts, the toys and stuff, they gonna break and
Mhm.
they gonna forget about those toys, but they gonna remember, that trip or that, fireworks at home with grandma or cookies or whatever.
Right.
Like, they remember that kind of stuff. It
Yep.
leaves a
That's why I'm
long
moving.
impression.
I am moving to Houston, Texas, outside of Houston,
Oh, that's
to
weird.
get closer to my mom
Okay,
because
that's
it'll
where
put
we
me
at.
3 hours, three and a half
Yes.
hours to Shreveport. My sister
Mm-hmm.
lives in Lake Charles. She'll be 2 hours. My brother lives in San Antonio. He'll be 2 hours. My granddaughter in Baton Rouge. She'll be 4 hours. So it'll give me my whole family less than
Mm-hmm.
5 hours. And I'm very grateful because, like I said, I'm ready to start my forever home situation. I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
buy because coming to Atlanta was what I was shown in my spirit to come here, and then it showed me LA, and I laughed at both of them because I'm like, I really don't have to leave because doing what I do, when you know how to do period hair, especially for African American hair, you will get called from the sticks. If
Mm-hmm.
they will call you and they will bring you to wherever they need to be. And I just prayed and I was like, God, my mom never talked old talk, and she was like, I'm just getting older and I will only spend time. And I'm like, my granddaughters need to see their great grandmother. So I'm planting the seed, new seed, don't know nobody there. I'm scared and
Well,
excited
you
at the
know,
same time. Are
uh,
you in Texas?
Yeah, we're in
We're
we
Houston.
all in
all we
Houston.
all in Houston.
Co-
Bow,
Come on here.
bow.
I did not know that.
That's why I was
Yeah,
like,
Yes,
So
and you do know y'all just got a new announcement that Texas is getting the incentive.
yeah.
yes.
what?
Yes, I'm
Long
so
So
time
come
ago.
excited.
on, come on.
Yeah, they getting the incentive. So I was like, you know what? Let me go and make my mark on Texas then. Let me go.
Yes.
So I have a theory. Someone was on this podcast, I believe, that spoke about people moving to, like, people from Louisiana. They don't move to like the south of side of Houston. Like they are more north side because it's closer to Louisiana. Well, it ain't close, but you can just hit that. You can hit
Hmm.
I-10 east,
Mm-hmm.
you're gone. So
Yes.
is that true? Are you moving closer to I-10 east, or you gonna be somewhere out in close to
Oh
Katy,
yeah,
mid Temple?
I'm gonna be on 59. I'm gonna
There
be
you go.
closer. I'm on 59 because I got to get to Shreveport. I didn't want to have to
Yep.
fight through all that traffic
So the
to
Yes.
get
theory,
back
the
to the
theory.
north side to get me
Yep.
home. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna be in Humble. I'm gonna be outside of.
Oh,
I just
I'm
got
in. I'm
kids.
in humble.
I'll be over on
Mm-hmm.
your. We gonna be neighbors then. I don't
Yeah.
know where I'm moving because I got my realtor. She found me a little spot because I'm gonna rent first, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna start looking for land to try to see where I want to have my forever home, either built or um or find. I'm hoping to find because I'm an HGTV fanatic. I like to
Mm-hmm.
paint and build and all that artsy crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping to find like an older type of house that already have plumbing that I could just tear down and then make amazing
Redo.
how I want it to be. But
Yes.
that's my goal. Because I know next year, because I got greenlit for an amazing job. I can't tell y'all, but it's huge. I
Yeah.
can't say nothing yet until the end of the year, but I'm going to Africa next year for
okay.
a while. So I'm trying to get
Okay.
there
Mm.
and starting to get acclimated in the city and start fishing and try to find out where I really want to plant my feet to be, there permanent. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Mm-hmm.
be in that area so we can work because I know a few things that's popping that is under the radar. So I'm coming there, joining the union there, and
Mm.
gonna plant my feet down because I'm not going into just here. I'm in the producing realm as well. I'm trying to
Mm.
I have 4 reality based TV shows that I'm actually in prep of to do the pilot. So I'm gonna shoot my pilot myself and directing and all that, orchestrating all that because I do all that as well. And trying to start this next journey, even with the move. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
moving not just into hair design. I got 3 more. Well, I got more years because I can't meet the requirements of my union
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not as old enough, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going. My goal is to do 6 months of that and 6 months for my stuff, and
Mm.
whichever one works. Because what I've learned, some tricks of the trade from other hair designers, you can go and still design and not actually be there every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my goal, to just prepare. That's why I do my trainings under my production company, Mona V Productions. I teach hairstylists how to really sharpen their skills and things that they need, teaching the lingo, how to operate on set, how it works, how to execute timely, because a lot of times people don't even realize that, oh, I don't know why they did this hair on her. They should just don't understand that we have to read the script, break the script down, execute those looks, and not just execute them in a timely manner to where that the production can still produce, because most people don't even pay attention. That's why hair and makeup and wardrobe I call the heartbeat of
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
production, because if
Yeah.
you don't have those 3 departments on lock, because that's who starts your day, it will take up all your budget. It will kill your
Mm-hmm.
production. You talking about want to shoot yourself in the foot, have somebody that running those departments on your team. You will never get your stuff finished. But yeah,
Yes.
that's what I got going.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
let me let you know something as well. I know you mentioned that you're gonna be building, and if you're looking for a builder for your home, that is what my husband do. He can build anything. So whenever you're ready to kind of go into that part of it, let me know.
Hmm. Okay, I would note to self.
Nice.
Awesome. See, look, I love when everything comes together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we need some good restaurants. I got a little weight on me.
Right.
Tell you go
Need
to.
And
all of
and
that.
and when you
We're gonna
start
take good care of you.
and when you start building, is they have a lot of land, little pockets
Mm-hmm.
of land here, like closer upspring in the Woodlands and stuff like that. Like the Woodlands got this little spot where you buy the land first and then you build your home
Mm-hmm.
in it. And the Woodlands is really ducked off. Like it's a lot of people, famous people in the Woodlands you wouldn't even know that lives there because it's
Mm-hmm.
so ducked off and just an island within itself. So
Yes.
me
And
and
it's
you share the same thing because that's what I want to do. I
mm-hmm.
want to give me something out there in the Woodlands and just have my family to ourselves and just have a plot of land. So
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was voted as like one of the best places to live, actually. And
yeah.
so,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are actually coming here to to go to the Woodlands and find them a spot there. I'm actually like 5 minutes from the Woodlands. I'm like right in Spring in the area that he's
Okay.
talking about. So, yeah.
I've seen it on the map, and my cousin's friend, she used to stay by the Woodlands, and she was telling me the same thing. So
Mm-hmm,
I'm coming to get my feet put because I didn't want to buy something not seeing it and not being
mm-hmm,
familiar with the neighborhood.
Right.
So I said, you know what, God, let me just rent this year and then buy because I'm not taking anything. I'm starting completely over like I did when I moved to Atlanta. I just give away everything. I always bless others and just start over again. So I'm leaving everything here that's in Atlanta that served its purpose here is going to stay here. And I'm
mm-hmm,
coming there with nothing but my clothes and my hair stuff. And I'm planning to buy everything that I need. I was fortunate to be able to rent one that can accommodate the same type of house in my vision that I want.
mm-hmm,
So as I buy furniture and everything will be able to move within that year because I pray that that process gets started at least if I'm building or remodeling something that's older that I can be doing that especially even before I get out of here to go and my sister and my brother they stay right there that they can accommodate and get that done so when I come back from the motherland darling I can
Mm,
be ready.
yes,
got
that sounds awesome. Like that's one place I would love to go.
Same.
It's to Africa. So,
Well,
oh
I'm wanting
Lord,
to
that is
do a
such a blessing.
docu series on hair, and my first episode was is going to be in Africa when I was writing it out,
Mm-hmm,
and I was like, I don't know if I really because I've never flown that far, never been out of the country like that. Still
mm-hmm.
scared, but I said got it. I'm gonna be a Benadryl taking. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna get on that plane,
mm-hmm,
scared and all, and I'm gonna do it because this type of opportunities don't happen. Because actually, I got called for Woman King, which I would have been over there before, but I was still on emancipation and I couldn't go because of the other hurricane that hit. So the same director came to me again. She was like, Mona, this is your time. I need you. As soon as I got this job, you popped in my spirit. So I know you're the one because I know you're very detailed, especially with our texture. And I was like, okay. And then when she told me what it was, I was excited. But then I thought it was going to be in the States. And then she gave it to me 2 months later. It's in Africa. I was like, oh, I almost fell over. I was like, okay, God. But I didn't accepted it now. So I don't have no choice. But the process of even thinking of the design for it, it outweighs the fear.
mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna get there and get myself planted and just start trying to build.
Yeah.
Yes, it's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing. You're gonna do a great job. You're gonna have a great time. It's
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Color Purple, Emancipation, Watchmen, Lovecraft Country, the list goes on, right? So many different styles of hair texture. Uh, has there been a particular project that was really challenging for or that was really tough for you and your team to pull off that you were like, man, okay, we got through that?
Emancipation is the most recent, but
Hmm.
I thank God he really just loved trying his child because even from day one on Great Debaters, being that I had never did period hair,
Mhm.
I had never been on set, I
mm-hmm,
had never, it was a lot of nevers. And to be taken from a salon setting on Saturday, put into a whole film set on Monday,
mm-hmm,
didn't understand no, they talking and it sounding like Chinese. And I'm like, what is that? Ooh. And I'm scared to ask because I'm just like, I just want to do hair. Can y'all just point me where the hair
mm-hmm,
table is? I got my curling iron. This is what I'm saying to myself. And I'm sweating. And at that point, I didn't even know that I knew Denzel was in it, but I didn't know Denzel was directing. And my first day on set, I never forget, and it was God really testing me because I literally looked at my keys and looked at my car because I could see my car through the door of the trailer. And I was like, I don't want to look like a fool, God. I could just go back to the salon. I ain't even asked for this. I ain't signed up for this. You brought this to me. I'm
Yeah.
good. And I'm like, I'm okay. I agree with my cousin that we would, because that's how this whole journey kind of connected. Because when you have to be careful what you pray for and
Yes.
be careful what you say, because a year and a half before I even got introduced, my cousin, she's in it too. I pushed her to do hair because I didn't want her to not have a trade, because
Mhm.
she was a young woman, didn't really know what she wanted. She was artsy, she was a singer, she do this and do that. She was everywhere. And I said, if you learn how to do hair, you will always be able to have money. You won't have to
Mhm.
depend on nobody, because you could do a quick
Mm.
do, make you some little gas money, you'll be fine. So I pushed her. She finally got it. So she started you remember when Cain and Abel and Master P and all of them in the South started doing their
Yes,
independent
ma'am.
films and stuff?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to hook up all that. So she was in a group and she was singing. And they ended up hooking up with Cain and Abel. And they was like, we're going to do this movie thing. So she ended up helping them. She was the boom operator. She was, the independent films. You already know that life.
Yeah.
So they had her start doing hair. And she came home on a Thanksgiving. And she was like, cuz you'll do great in it. This film stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's cute. But how much money do you actually make?
Yeah.
I'm a numbers girl. I love everybody. We can do some things. I don't mind volunteering. But when it comes to that dollar, I need to know what my time, because I was taught that time
Mhm.
is money. So
Mm-hmm.
she said, well, on the small ones, I heard on the big ones, you can make a lot. But on the small ones, $20 an hour. I said, girl, my haircuts is $85, and I can do three in an hour. I said, so do the math. I said, well, you know what, cuz before I just dismiss it, I said, because I always wanted to be an actress too. I said, let me
Mm-hmm.
stop. Holy Spirit said, oh, that's what you're gonna say. I said, no, you're right. I said, let's stand in agreement. If this is for me, God is gonna meet and beat what I already make now. I said, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll know it's for me. That was Thanksgiving. We stood in agreement. She said, cuz you're gonna get in. 2 weeks later, she had like a little pilot that they Cain and Abel was doing, but she couldn't do it because she was on another little low budget. She said,
Mhm.
cuz when you go down and do it, and I was like, how much they gonna pay? They only gonna give you $250 and they'll put you up. And it was in New Orleans. And I was having such a hard time uh in real life. And I was like, you know what? Let me get out of the city. I can take this trip. They paid $250. That's gas or whatever. I can just drive and have that time. That 5 hour drive to Shreveport, to New Orleans, gonna be fine. I said, I'll take it. I'm driving my mentee, my mentor from my church. She hit me as I'm driving. She said, no, where you going? I said, I'm going to do hair on this little pilot thing. I don't know what they expect or whatever, but I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
go do hair. I just need to get out of the
Mhm.
city. She said, well, call Pastor and tell Pastor to pray for you. You're not married no more, and you want that covering. And I was like, okay, you're right. I said, many times I done traveled for classes. I never thought to call my pastor and ask my pastor to pray. Called
Mhm.
him, he picked up, he prayed, and he was like, I'm happy for you. Just let me know when you're on your way back. We'll cover you. So that story, remember I told you that I went to my pastor's house for Easter?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That was the Thanksgiving before that Easter. Full circle,
Mm.
and that Easter Sunday. And when he asked my pastor that, that's when my pastor brought it. God brought it back to his memory that I had went to New Orleans
Mm.
and did that little pilot. And she's like, yeah, she good at whatever she do. And you see how that full circle of agreement came just like that.
Mm-hmm. And not even in a year's time.
Not even a year's time, just
Mm.
like that. That door came,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy that Mr. Cannon, he said he'd never done that like that. He's always
Yeah.
been introduced by somebody else that was in the industry to bring new people in. But
Mm-hmm.
he said he just knew I was the one. And when he started seeing me make momentum in the industry, I would run into him ever so often. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I ran into him before he passed away. He was in Atlanta doing a show, and literally was going to see a friend that does Martin Lawrence hair, and they was here to do Bad Boys 3, and they all
Mhm.
was at the same hotel, and Mr. Ken was doing P Valley at that
Mm-hmm.
point before he got real sick. And I was went to go see my friend, and Mr. Ken walked through the lobby, and a few months later he's passed. Do you see how God
It,
works
oh
Right.
man.
and how divine appointments are real. That's why I be telling people just go with the flow. Because I could have
Mm-hmm.
easily told my friend that I didn't want to come because I almost did, but I
Yeah.
pressed through because I hadn't seen him in years. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to see him and be able to give him some love before he passed away.
Yes.
Mm.
That is so
Isn't that
amazing.
amazing?
That is. That's so amazing. I mean, what they say, you work on time.
On time.
Not
But
your
yeah,
time.
it's
You
been
can't see
but
it.
it's
Not
been
your
some
time.
adventurous
Right.
it's been some adventurous shows though. Like not just on the level of not knowing things like emancipation coming off of COVID. Mostly everybody had grew their hair out. And
Yeah.
you know how if you pay attention to slave narrative, you never seen slaves with long hair.
No.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
know why? They were either brutally shaved because they knew hair was a whole thing for us,
Mm.
or they were malnourished to where their bodies wouldn't really produce it. They
Oh.
didn't
Mm.
have products. They didn't have all the stuff that we have now to be able to really help and hydrate and take care of our hair. So here
Mm-hmm.
I am placed in a position with all these young kids that let their hair grow out during COVID. And being that I'm a black mother myself, a son that love their hair, I taught my sons to love their hair. You think I'm gonna ask these kids to cut their hair? I
Mm.
can't.
Yeah.
I went into prayer and I was like, God, it got to be authentic. These children don't want to cut their hair, and then not just that, it was coming off COVID. They could barely find enough people to really even accommodate because people were really still scared because we still was in masks and stuff at that point.
Imagine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to get 300 people to come to a casting call to be slaves in New Orleans heat, that's a whole nother dynamic. So if we get a child with long hair, guess what they're gonna say? You need to figure it out because we
Yeah.
need these bodies.
Right.
Right.
We'll try to accommodate with some with hats, but we really want to see those that look of the time. And that's
Mm.
the
Right.
director's request.
Right.
Babe, I went into prayer and God showed me a procedure to be able to never had done it before. I still use it now. I use it in my class now. I teach it to other hairstylists now in my classes that I do. A pinning technique to be able to take the hair from that to down to that.
Mm.
Yeah. And to make it disheveled. So it was that was one of my most challenging and one of the most rewarding because I have been following Peter's story because you know he was from the guy that Will played with the scorched back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
His story is so unique because even now, if you drive down 10 heading to New Orleans through the Chapelay area, coming from Baton Rouge,
Mm-hmm.
you can't run through that thick right now
No,
with
you cannot.
Mm-mm.
shoes. So just imagine
No.
this man had been beat to the point of
Mm-hmm.
death with no anesthesia, no band-aids, no alcohol, no what the ointment
Mm.
to take care of him,
Mm-hmm.
malnourished, running through a thicket with
Mm-hmm.
not the lights. You know, we got lights on the highway
Mm-hmm.
at night for that many miles away from where he was at that plantation and
Mm.
still live
It's
Yeah.
barefoot.
Yeah.
I have to finish watching that movie, but I did get to that part, and I knew it was in Louisiana because I could tell by the trees. And I'm
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
we shot that thing right in the real thick of Louisiana. So to know his story, I actually prayed. This is so funny. I actually prayed during COVID the three shows. The first one was Women of the Movement. That was a hard one emotionally. That's the one about Emmett Till and his mom,
oh
telling her backstory. It was a series on ABC.
yeah,
I prayed for that one when I seen it because coming being from Louisiana, you know we all know Emmy's story. My
Yeah.
grandma would preach it, don't stay out past dog, come back in here, stay in here. You know, these people take you. Da, 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 da. She would always tell us about Emmy's story. So I was like, wow, they finally about to tell this child's story. I
Mm.
pray that the right person get it. If it ain't me, God, let the right person get it because I don't want people distracted by the wigs or the ugly hair or whatever and not
Mm.
be able to tell the story. Next day, strolling, roll up on Emancipation on Instagram. They doing Peter's story. Oh my God. I said, God, I know I just asked you yesterday for that one, but I really want both. I take both. But if it's not me, please, God, let the right person get it because they're really finna tell this man's story. He's from Louisiana. It's really rich. People need to know endurance is real, that God's favor is real, that He can carry you through anything. Next day, rolled up on Woman King. Oh my God, they're telling the homie women story. I followed them because of on Lovecraft Country. We the brighter base that part where Ingenue running it with
Mm-hmm.
the tribe. She
Mm-hmm.
based those women on the Dahomey women. That's what
Mm.
that's where she got that inspiration from. So I was like, I done did research on all three of these real people stories
Yeah.
that look like me.
Right.
God, please. And guess what happened? He honored me. He gave me Women of the Movement. I went and knocked that thing out, gave me Emancipation, but he let me know that Woman King was mine, but he told me, no, I need you over here. Finish out
Yes.
Emancipation because this one's gonna be a hard one. And I did. I couldn't leave it, and because we ended up overlapping for the hurricane tour of everything, so the dates got pushed. But I'm grateful that I did stay because I got Oscars shortlisted, BAFTA longlisted. I was able
Mm.
to experience that whole thing. I was just like, I am writing about how I executed hair design on an Oscars platform.
Mm.
How many people that look like us
Yeah,
really get that opportunity?
Yeah.
that's
It's
amazing.
such a blessing.
Yeah.
Girl, I peached myself. I cried and peached myself. Apple took so good care of me. When I tell you, gave me everything. Girl, it was an experience. And to get on that
Mm-hmm.
stage where people in this industry, like the big wigs at the freaking Goodwin Myers
Mm.
Theater,
Mm-hmm.
standing on that platform, somebody looking like us, standing talking about a movie about us.
Mm.
I'm good. Like I'm like
Yes.
I know it's more God, but I'm good. I told them one, two. I got the Emmy. I got the Guild nomination. I said, you know that third one. I said, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, come on, give me that third one. I said, you gonna give me that third one. And just to have those experiences, you know, coming from a place like I am, that's why I've always prayed, Lord, let my light shine to children that come from small places. Know
Mm-hmm.
that if you put in that hard work, you believe, and you execute, you can achieve your goals. It will
Mm-hmm.
manifest. In God's
Yes.
time, it will manifest every time because He never let you plant a seed and it don't grow. But some
Mm.
seeds are different types of seeds. That's what people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. So certain seeds take longer to grow in certain conditions. So you
Right.
got to watch the conditions and you got to know what kind of seeds you're sowing. So I put in
Yes.
that work and I just expect God to give me a harvest, and He has.
Yes. I always say I have to be really specific because
Right.
I'll pray some real general, but like, and I don't think about the specifics, like
Yes,
how
God
it's
is
coming
detailed.
or
He's
who's
very
gonna be
detailed.
bringing this,
Yeah,
what kind of circumstances gonna be going on around this blessing.
Um.
Yes, because with blessing, there's responsibility.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
yeah.
Um. Like you said, you've been nominated. You walked away with some awards. Could you share with the audience to help them along with the business? Well, I believe you answered that question already.
Hmm.
You know, but like, could you give the struggling artist, or I ain't gonna say struggling, but an artist is trying to make it, whether it's acting, whether it's hairstylist,
Hmm.
you get into like this fog where you just don't know if this is going to work, and bills are piling up, and then you don't you kind of like doubting yourself. Do you
Yes.
have any gems or anything to help that person, like you know
Oh yeah. Because faith is real. I'm gonna tell you that you have to believe. I don't tell people what to believe in as far as your higher power, but I know we all know as human beings that there's something way bigger than us.
yeah,
So my dynamic is what my dynamic is. So for me, coming from a small city, coming from a place where they tell you that your best thing is to be a mother of somebody's wife, and you just that's your biggest goal. Having dreams and aspiration, God showed me as a young woman that I was going to be on TV. I seen it just as clear, and I used to think it was just a dream until I
Hmm.
started seeing how I was being bumped into certain places, learning how to take and dance and learn tap and having opportunities to lead in different positions of plays. And my mom was a writer, being a teacher, writing things, and she would put me in places. As a child, I would step back and pay attention. I think a lot of times we don't pay attention to the journey. We so busy trying to get to the destination that we forget to pay attention to where we're at in the moment, in the now.
Mm.
And then it will give you, well, it gives me, because it's still ongoing for me. Even though I'm where I'm at, I still have that ego in me, like we all do, that is it do its job. Because a lot of
Mm.
people think ego is having, oh, I'm thinking this and I'm this and this and that. No,
Mhm.
God has programmed and put certain things in us to keep us in that right here.
Mhm.
And an untamed ego can have you too high here to where you think you too much, you're unapproachable, you need nobody, this and that. And an untamed level on this side, committing suicide, self doubt, self hate, all these things. But when you have it together, you
Mhm.
flowing because you understand. And I didn't understand that until I got older, that how the ego work and how that voice in the back of your head will beat you up more than the people on the street will. And if
Mhm.
you haven't really placed things, the right things in your eyesight, as far as education, learning, being around people that are doing what you want to do,
Mhm.
interning, those things, I started structuring myself around people that were doing things. So when you're seeing people move, it makes you excited to be able to start moving too, even if you don't really know where you want to be.
Mm.
I knew that
Mhm.
I wasn't going to end up just being a single mother,
Mhm.
divorced with with three kids in the projects. That wasn't going to be my end result. So for me, I wrote that thing down. What we gonna do, Mona B? We finna we gotta do what we need to do. And
Mhm.
when he showed me that I could good with my hands, I made sure that I went to every lesson that even looked like hair. I still do it to this day. I know a lot of stuff, but I
Yeah.
still train. I still have all my mannequins. I when I'm off, I'm not off, because
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like when I heard Jordan's story back in the day, how what separated Jordan was Jordan got up every day instead of hanging out with his friends, he
Mhm.
was in the gym shooting. So
Mhm.
it comes what? It becomes memory. So my
Mhm.
mom being a teacher, she said, you're gonna be the best at what you do. You learn everything about this thing. She said, you're
Yeah.
gonna do hair, you're gonna do it like no other. I find myself in there, click, 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 click. My friend, girl, child, y'all going on. Because I'm on a mission. You have to
Mhm.
stay focused to, if you know what you want and where you trying to go. I tell even my young kids that I mentor, write down what it is that you want to become.
Mhm.
Once you write down or what you're passionate about, then the second category, write down what it takes to actually become that.
Mhm.
Then the next category, find out where you at. If you're young, talk to your parents about it. If you're a teenager, start seeing if they have programs at the schools and stuff like that. If you're an adult, seek out what type of classes or whatever these things, or the people that's doing it, that you can get around and start floating and being in this moment of learning.
Mhm.
So many people are doubting themselves because we don't actually put ourselves in position to really be able to grow. We'll sit up on these phones and look at everything but what we need to be looking at. We'll
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
Instagram 12 hours talking about all the stuff that's happening in the news, but are you really focusing on where you're trying to go? I
Yeah.
tell
Mhm.
my students, you ain't got to do it every day. You can just do it an hour. An
Mhm.
hour of muscle memory will bring strength. You will eventually
Yes.
see more muscle than you will when you're not even putting in that work.
Mhm.
So I would tell those that are trying to get in, especially acting, take acting classes. It's
Yeah.
so much at your disposal now, at your fingertips, that
Mhm.
you really don't have an excuse to not
Mhm.
really pursue behind anything you want.
Yeah.
Everything now is virtual after COVID. You wanna? I just was telling my son's girlfriend. She makes wigs. She just freelances and makes wigs. And I told her, I said, girl, why don't you go to school? And she was like, I don't have time. She came in there and said, she said, you know what? I went online. There's beauty school online. I said, bingo. I said, I want to see if you want it for yourself. I could
Mhm.
easily say, come on. No, you got to want it for yourself. And
Yeah.
you got to
Mhm.
put in that work. When you put in that work, God will boop. You will meet this person. That person will bump you. So to your listeners, know that if you put yourself in a $35 class, you get on an online class, you get on a free class, something that you may not even think is real beneficial, but it is. Every
Mhm.
little nugget that is associated with where you're trying to go, You need to pursue that. You need to Google, and Google will give you a list of this, and print out paperwork, read, study, put yourself in that position of growing into what you would want to become. And that self-doubt, oh, you ain't gonna make it, because I hear it all the time. Every time I take a new job, every time I come, the first day on set, the first day, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. But that's that survival mode that I lived in before I became who I am now. And I tell that voice, shut up. That's why I'm here. And I'm gonna go in here and knock this thing out too. And guess what happens? You have to tell that voice, because those are things that we have allowed, especially when we're sitting and watching these videos and we're listening to people. We don't understand that we're feeding our psyche. We're feeding that ego. And that ego will come back and regurgitate that crap back to you when you're showing fear. So when they get together, then next thing you know, you got a demise. No, when that thing come back at you because you done expose yourself, you guess what? Spray that hate off in your head. Tell that hater go, because we got business to do. And yes, maybe nobody look like me doing what I'm doing, but guess what? I'm gonna be that first one.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And so, could you tell everybody where they can follow you or they can see you at on social media?
Oh, yes, you can follow me on Instagram, Andrea Mona B, on Facebook, Andrea Mona Bowman. You can inbox me as well if you have any questions or just anything. If you want to talk and try to figure certain things out, I know we only can be on here for a certain amount of time. But if you have any questions about film, TV, especially hair design or anything, because like I said, my production company, I am really getting to a level and contemplating about starting an agency to be able to place people where they need to be across the board in all departments. So yeah, just inbox me. I would love to speak to you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Talk out there. We'll talk out there about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk off air.
But thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, Andrea Bowman, give it up for one more time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as well. Thank you, guys.